Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Evil Genius with me, BrainBoy 20. Let's continue from where we last left off, shall we? And we were constructing we were constructing something power related, so I can actually access the world minion pane. That's weird, the music just cut out. Well, it's not normally supposed to be happening, but Now those body bags decayed. Yes. Oh, we'll be racking up a body count, alright. Speaking of which, I might actually have too many power-utilizing devices here, so I might actually have to build another power room. For those wondering, capacitors, I'll just give a brief explanation, actually.
Power is important. If you fail to generate enough, your base will effectively shut down, leaving you defenseless in the dark. You will need to build more generators quickly.
Unfortunately, that doesn't explain anything at all. A capacitor is a device utilized in the event that your base runs out of power by some means. The capacitor will be backup power, powering up doors and keeping your base running at full operations until you can purchase another power generator. There are a few limitations associated with it, although I almost never have to deal with this. Famous last words. And now something about the time clock.
Minions will automatically start working in a room, but you can control this more precisely by building a time clock. Moving the time clock slider allows you to turn a room off, which can be useful for saving power in a blackout situation. Alternatively, surplus minions can be assigned to the room so that the equipment is never vacant between shifts.
And those are how time clocks work. Now this is probably going to use up the rest of my funding, but I do need this because, well, I'll show you the difference between a world domination pane without power and a world domination pane with power. So everything has 2-2. Now, what the game doesn't tell you is that the 2 on the bottom here, with this target dot, if you can see that, or you're watching this video in a high enough resolution, means that that is how good the area is for plotting, how many acts of infamy are in a certain area. And my base is running while I'm doing this, so the power will be built while I'm explaining this. Now, each region has its own specific acts of infamy location. Unfortunately, we can't see that because we need a certain amount of control panels, yes. To get those control panels, we have to power up a lot of control panels. I think the maximum is 8 minions stationed at control panels. And memory banks also provide assistance, but we'll show you memory banks later when I actually have the power to utilize these. And this should bring my power up to 35, which means I should be able to power this on. Yes. Oh yes, this noise is going to be here no matter what. You can't turn that off. But now that it's powered on, my minions actually have something to do, so let's show you what the minions do as they staff things. Oh, and I also need to figure out the best optimum coverage for my minion, lord. No, my evil genius. Oh, no, we're not assassinating another person just because you feel like it. This is the optimum coverage. My evil genius will never move from this spot until I can get something to replace his effectiveness. Excuse me. Actually, I'll just show you what the music here sounds like and why I love this game so much, just for the music alone. Okay, hopefully this doesn't... Oh, that's better. I wish this wasn't as loud, but I don't think I can avoid that. But now with all these staved, you see every single region all of a sudden has its numbers pointed out. Now, I have to have a certain number of minions stationed on island for numerous reasons. Do I have all 15 in that region? Where are my minions? Oh. He's just messing around then. Right, first things first. I'm going to send out some minions to acquire a stable cash fund. About 4, and them constantly stealing money from the region will be good. Now I'm going to start messing around with acts of infamy in other areas, because boosts in notoriety have another benefit, which I'll display when I can actually get that benefit. How many is needed? 3. I'll still have enough minions stationed here to at least get my money's worth. To at least get my maximum coverage needed so I can actually see what's going on in the world at menu. I'm sending Lord Kane out because Lord Kane can gain experience from these acts of infamy. Don't worry, the maid's not going to randomly barge in. She's not a special agent or anything like that. She's not going to break down the front door and steal all my secrets and gold. As little as there is. When all my minions arrive, I can show you the animation that says that these men are leaving. And it looks like it's falling nighttime.
Depot now stocks new objects. New blueprints now available.
I was fairly delayed.
If you're finding that pesky tourists keep barging in on your most secret schemes, why not build a hotel to keep them occupied? You'll need social minions to staff hotels, but with the right furniture inside, you can keep tourists out of your hair all day and night.
And that's why I call them psychological minions. Now, I would consider building a hotel, but just let me show you how expensive these things are. I rarely, if ever, afford these things unless I'm playing an extremely long game. And I don't think I really am willing to play an extremely long game. And the topside shack, you're wondering what that is? It's this thing. If you haven't noticed already. Now once this thing takes off, that'll mean the minions are on the screen. Similar to the boat, if the boat arrives, as soon as this door closes, they're on their way. Now they're going to drop off here, and I'm all of a sudden going to get a cash income, and I'm also going to get a cash income from here, but that's not the reason why I'm here. The reason is forging ahead.
Commencing mission.
This is 30 seconds, it's just I don't have the maximum number of minions necessary to get the information drained out of that region. And he's already going to go get my cash from the outside world. Now what's nice is that this guy is great at plotting and fair at defending, but he's also good at stealing. He also protects allies in battle, boosts information level in the region. By boosting information level, it means this level.
Hello,
Ooh.
Jim. This is Abdul Eye in the Sky.
That's interesting.
Reporting on traffic from the top of an elephant. From up here, I can see a tailback ahead caused by a sacred cow in the road. There is also a tailback behind me caused by, well, by my elephant. Moving on to news from the subcontinent, the evil mastermind has struck again, despite the best efforts of Sable's colonial forces.
That is not racist at all. Actually, I should have shown you what this means. Forging ahead. Bruce the Dingo McGraw is a master forger currently languishing in prison. His skill can't be faulted, but his common sense leaves something to be desired. He was only caught because he tried to spend his forged money before the ink had dried. Prison security is relatively lax, so a breakout shouldn't be difficult, and freeing McGraw will be an effective two-fingered salute to Saber agents that caught him. I'd have preferred a one-finger salute, but I guess we can't get everything now, can we? Now, this isn't the best spot to be getting money and funding from, so we're going to go here next. And here's how minion transferring works in this. If you're fast enough, you can transfer your minions just about anywhere. I should check the time. I never seem to check the time. I'm only going here because I'm trying to get as many of these acts of infamy done as possible. I'll read off all the acts of infamy because they're one-time things, so I doubt we'll have much trouble with them. Fishy business. Stolen secret documents reveal that Anvil is implementing a new round-the-clock offshore patrol system using disguised junks filled with the latest electronic detection equipment. We can stretch this fledgling operation beyond breaking point by feeding the local dolphin population fish wrap, radio, and sonar beacons.
Mission underway.
We get heat that's not going to go away until a certain point in time, but it doesn't matter. Now I should have... yes. The infamy boosts your minion capacity, which I heavily enjoy because the early infamy boosts from this are vital for survival. And of course he has to hit Kane, meaning he's not going to get the experience from completing this mission. He'll get experience from the other one.
Hello, Reverend Archer here with another message of hope from the Polynesian mission in Papua New Guinea. We had a wonderful turnout to the raffle last week, but the conch shell first prize is still unclaimed. So check those tickets. Good news, chaps. Those anonymous ruffians got a nasty surprise today when they tried to pull off another evil plot. Well done to Anvil for sorting them out, although I do think they needn't be so heavy-handed.
Well then, I think that's the very first time I've ever failed one of these missions. Regardless, I'm constantly recruiting now, so I shouldn't have a problem with minion capacity soon. And I'm always getting money, so every 60 seconds in game time, someone's gonna go pick up the briefcase full of money and then drag it back out. The boat should be here anytime soon. Here we go. I'm just showing you these animations, because they're nice. Nothing important or impressive. Now, if you're wondering what happened to my dead henchmen, my dead minions will never return. They're effectively terminated. However, the henchman is technically lost in the world. He is using his connections and such to find his way back to me immediately, due to some blood debt or otherwise. Honestly, I don't know. Perhaps I broke him out of prison. Maybe. I've done something in his name that made him favor me so much that he's willing to do anything to continue working for his master. It should appear soon. Funny how we're using a boat, yet the helicopter is the one that's used. Let's go again. We're getting a steady stream of funds, and I aim to keep it that way for as long as possible. You're joking, right? You're absolutely joking. He's gonna die, isn't he?
Hello there. This is Reverend Archer with a Polynesian Public Service broadcast on a mission in Papua New Guinea. I've got an exciting program lined up for you today. First a few hymns and a bit of a pray, then we'll see if the Macat tribe managed to give up headhunting for Lent. I've also heard that some evil men have recently been causing mischief in these parts, so make sure you take a good book with you at all times.
There's an upper limit to when infamy stops working to boost this, but at least the infamy you gain here just goes towards a permanent benefit. Well, this earplug, but... well, what I can do... what other place has good plotting potential? We can send some people to the middle of the United States. I think there's... no, there's a... one in Cuba. What am I doing? There's a reason I'm sending so many people. A, eventually I'm going to have enough recruitment to continue working on this. B, the one minion. The one minion has to do everything. Such a shame. Now, the reason I don't touch the maid in any way, shape, or form is because once I do capture the maid and interrogate her, or kill her if I so desire, I immediately trigger the next chain of events, making it so the game is now in freeform. This is currently the, quote, protected, unquote, side of the game, where you are free to do anything you can, or anything you want or can do during this time frame, but after it, training wheels are off. You have to deal with whatever the forces of justice throw at you. Ah, you can see Lord Kane has returned. Speaking of which, I may actually send Lord Kane here. Cuba. I'll send Lord Kane out to see if I can hopefully get him to be in the region. I could probably also show you the experience he gained. I think he was at 40 last time. Oh, and this thing just randomly... Minions just randomly appear. Let's see. He gained some experience. Not much to make it worthwhile, but... In the very beginning of the game, experience is hard to come by, so I might as well send Kane on as many outings as I physically can. Sometimes this game's a whole lot of nothing, and this is one of those points in the game. And he finally realizes that he has to run. Actually, why not? I might as well show you Lord Kane's profile. Lord Kane is an almost mythic figure in the criminal underworld. Many urban legends hold Lord Kane responsible for pretty much every major crime or disaster this century, from the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand to the Hindenburg. Unlike most urban legends, they are actually true in this case, although Lord Kane is of course meticulous in ensuring that no evidence can ever link him to his deeds. He insists to this day that his biggest crime was simply the result of a deaf lackey who misheard an order of a bit of a light panic, I think, as the ship Titanic sink her. With the European aristocracy wrapped around his little finger and the unwashed masses quaking in fear at his very name, Lord Kane is both a master manipulator and deadly combatant. And then here are his two abilities, and what I remember about them. Basically, this man is my crowd control. If I suddenly encounter a problem I can't deal with, I just send him at it and hope he fixes it. Alright, these are all here. I'll set them to plotting. So hopefully he'll find the act of infamy that I'm looking for. I'm drinking a bottle of water while doing this. Here's a note, kids. If you're ever going to try Let's Playing, don't eat anything just before it. Hurts your voice if you try speaking for a long time. We found it. I'll give you 3 seconds to guess what this is. Let me put it to you this way. There's Soviet Russia here. There's United States here. And we're in Cuba. If you guess the Cuban Missile Crisis, you're right. It occurs to our forces in the region that having a communist bastion off the coast of the capital of the capitalist empire offers some intriguing opportunities to increase our notoriety. Just recently, for example, we have discovered a Patriot cell operating in downtown Havana, probably on a covert fact-finding mission. Just think of the trouble Hammer would find itself in if the mission were to discover plans for nuclear ballistic missile buildup. Our document forgers are standing by. Once I get enough people here, I can actually physically show you what you can see on that area. And since I have this here, I'll switch them to stealing, just so I can get some money income. That makes more sense than what I currently have. money is gained on a every 60-second basis here. There is one way to reduce it, but it's not available until the second island. By reduce it, I mean time. For those who haven't figured it out. Almost as if there was actually something worthwhile to see.
He who walketh I think
Try to set this guy here so everyone gets the constant regeneration. Doesn't seem to be working. But we're already getting our funding back at a couple of thousand every couple of turns. Now then. Can I actually see what the active infamy gains? No. How much more is needed? Half a computer more. This is the very slow segment of the game. The game picks up later, trust me. This is just, it's going to take a while before I actually feel inclined to capturing the maid. A, I want to actually build up some money. B, I want to build up a little bit of a base, a freezer room at least somewhere in the base to hide my corpses, and also possibly a... what else do I have to build actually? Freezer room and armory I know for a fact would need to be built eventually, considering the amount of corpses I always produce. Can I see it? No. Tell you what. Considering how much time this is taking, I might just end the recording for right now, because I'm just going to be spending lots of time building up my forces and such. So, when we come back, I'll begin the Cuban Missile Crisis. Hello everyone. I'm not doing anything yet, just bringing you back. This is an example of a minion, or was just an example of a minion scratching his head due to extremely low attention, which got fixed as my evil genius was brought forth. Anyway, going back to the waiting game. Right, now that we're back, I actually am able to see the risk, heat, notoriety, time thing. This is one of the few 1-minute times that are actually in the game. So we'll just begin now and see what happens. Unfortunately, one flaw with this game I can find is that you can't actually control what goes on in the game. As in, you can't, there's no like randomly generated mission based off of this event that you're given that you must perform in order to see what happens. You just have to pick it and it goes. This is one of the few I remember just because you're running the Cuban Missile Crisis. I think that's kind of important. Okay, that is jerkish. That just kills off all your minions. Technically I still would have lived through that. I think Lord Kane mitigated most of the damage there. I wish I could do an influx of minions type deal, but that doesn't work in this game, if I remember correctly. Influxes of minions don't go over that well. I always wondered, do the minions die, or do they just... Oh, come on!
This is the national news broadcast. Remember, all other radio stations are banned. If you listen to them, you are betraying El Presidente. Vive el Presidente! You may have heard distressing rumors that a horde of evil persons have committed an atrocity in our beloved Cuba. El Presidente would like to make it known that these rumors are false, and any evidence to the contrary is merely coincidence. On an entirely unrelated matter, El Presidente has made a request to Hammer for more truth.
Right, so we started the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's not a bad reputation at all. We're not slandering their good name. In the meantime, while I continue to build up forces, I will just ferry these people around and try to do some acts of infamy that I can find. Actually, no. I'm just going to do some stealing of cash and build up some more support. I'll bring you all back in when I find Lord Kane. Or something else happens. Well, I'm assuming you may be impatient. Due to my own impatience, I've already laid out the blueprint for the armory. It's going to be a fairly massive one, but then again, I plan to put a lot in the armory for later, considering how I like to micromanage things. And I've also readjusted these people. We discovered an act of infamy here, but the first one we discovered was, well, it wasn't suited for our cause. Any minion that gets sent into space need at least any minions that get sent into space need at least a modicum of protection. Why go through all the time and expense of researching a design of our own when the boffins at the National Aeronautic and Space Administration have already done it, the hard work for us? Basically, we're stealing a spacesuit. It's gonna be one of the very few prizes for the acts of infamy that we're getting right away. Now, unfortunately, there's a lack of treasures that you can get without other minion types, so I might just speed things along. Once I hit 100,000, I'll start construction of this room. Now, Lord Kane, did you actually get the experience from that? I don't remember if you do or not. Depot's not empty, you stole Lord Kane. I hope he did, because technically the act of infamy was a success. No, he doesn't. Okay, there's just no point to sending you out then, is there? Well then, time to do 2 simultaneous acts of infamy. The first one is getting a library, so let's go and start stealing. It's not notorious enough, but it gives us access to something that we're going to need later, and then we're going to Earplug the operation. Operators have uncovered a smashed listening post and a staging area for covert operations. It appears this cell has effectively curtailed criminal activities in the region. Destroying this operation will send a clear message to the forces of justice. A new power is rising, and no pesky do-gooders are going to stop it.
Mission underway.
Basically, it's something necessary for our cause. And then we're also going to steal the library blueprints. A prestigious Californian university is building an extension to their campus library. Send some minions to the construction site to pilfer the blueprints and building materials. Once you have these, the archives room can be built in the base to replenish minions' smarts. Haven't had that problem yet, only had attention span issues, which the evil genius effectively curtails if I put myself in the right spot.
Here.
I want you to go slightly to the right.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 died. That doesn't matter as long as you live. Your lives are worthless as long as you're alive. Medium's no level of difficulty. On easy, normally that kind of thing doesn't happen. If you go with the bare minimum. I don't think he's gonna make it.
Good morning. This is the Hara event, covering current events across all of Northern Africa. Our big story is the shocking raid that took place earlier today. The identity of those responsible is still not known, but Smash is reported to have several leads they are investigating. And now, the weather. The outlook for the Sahara is the same as usual. Drier than a dehydrated cream cracker on a sunbed.
No more minion capacity. It takes a while. I think I have to get to 50 for the next capacity boost, which things heat up a lot later. I'm sending out these minions to start stealing some stuff. Lord Kane is perfectly fine as he is. You know, we'll construct the armory at this point because I feel confident we're gonna have enough money and funding by the time this is over with.
Room construction unpaused.
If this thing ever flashes red and a number appears, that means a minion amount has died somewhere in the world. Fortunately, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon. This is a risk-zero operation. Now, what I plan to do here might necessitate the need for another power generator room, so I'm going to build that right now before it becomes a massive problem. This, once again, is another section for the future, but it's nice when I can just do things like this and get tons of space and storage.
New room build order confirmed. Object purchase order confirmed. Object has been ordered.
And of course, this is going to dip heavily into my funds, but I'm going to need it for what else I plan to build. Actually, if I set you to plotting... And I already found one.
Pacific Radio. This is Pacific FM, and I'm Larry Driscoll, keeping you up to date with regional events from California all the way up to Alaska. The story on everyone's lips today is the big felony committed earlier. No one knows who's responsible yet, but everyone's got a theory. Isn't that right, Bill? Haha, yeah. Even the penguins in Alaska got a theory, Larry. Penguins are from the South Pole, Bill. Damn it, Larry. Why do you always show me up on air?
Well, interesting characters. I don't think they're going to find much else by plotting. But we'll give them some time. We'll give them a bit of time. Right, I'm guessing the power room is going to be constructed first. Power rooms in my bases are always oddly constructed because I know what I get later is very useful and smaller than these power generators. If a bit more volatile. They're not really constructed with cameras in mind, though. I guess I'll have to fix that problem later. If only building an evil lair was as easy as doing this. Not gonna bother reading this because, well, I don't have access to it yet. As a mission, I mean. This one, however... Yeah, there's enough plotting to be done there, and you're not finding anything. I think there's another one somewhere in Australia, so I shall requisition your working in those regions. That made no sense at all. Just have these people vlogging, and if you don't find anything else in the next 10 seconds or so, I'll switch you to steal. Oh wait, you're already on stealing. Never mind. Yeah, see, they've already found something. Unfortunately, it requires technicians. You may read these yourself, but I'm going to read these when the time comes. And by when the time comes, I mean when I'm actually capable of doing those acts of infamy. Now, any act of infamy with a loot icon like this on it means it's just a piece of... well, it's a piece of fancy equipment that you can get. I'm seeing nothing coming out of this region. Then again, Australia tends to be a difficult region to find anything out of. We'll send you all here. So this is probably their arrival for this region. Yeah, I'll let them steal for a while. But I'm getting an amount of money out of this, and if we find anything from there. If we find anything, we'll do it, but probably not. Now, thankfully, this armory is very large, and thus I can put in a lot of items when the time comes that I actually have something useful to put in there. Let me show you what the library does. I can find the library. Library, where are you? Archives.
The archives room is where minions go to replenish their smarts stat, especially important to science minions, who use smarts to consider new potential objects for research. However, not everything that can be built in this room is as innocuous as it first seems.
Might as well do the oil leak. Decoded radio traffic indicates as yet unrevealed plans for a massive new oil storage facility. When fully operational, this facility is likely to form the starting location for additional pipeline infrastructures. Sabotage in the operation at such an early stage will cause unprecedented chaos and cost the government and businesses involved millions of dollars in delays. Sounds like my kind of business.
Commencing mission.
The business of messing it up, of course, not the business of actually dipping my hands in this, mind you. You're telling me they can't plot anything out of that region? Yeah, well, I might as well have them steal something if they're not finding anything, as I need the funding quickly. I'm sorry, I'm paranoid. I just want... Yeah, we lost some people. We always lose people. As long as I don't lose my henchmen, that's fine, but I'm gonna lose my henchmen now that I've said that as a result. Please note how when he puts it down...
This is the Pan-Arabic
Don't you
wireless
dare-
service at 8 o'clock. The pressure continues to mount on Smash as they struggle to contain the burgeoning global crime wave that has now begun to affect the Middle East. A prominent oil sheik spoke out this afternoon. This outrage makes me question why OPEC members are sinking our money into Smash when it's so obviously ill-equipped to protect our interests.
I'll put some back here to get more funding, but of course Lord Kane has to die. I mean, that's kind of an obvious thing now at this point. And the reason I send him there is he prevents the mission from failing if the others all die at once. I would say at this point I might end this video set here. Yeah, it seems like a good time to end it, just showing off a couple of acts of infamy and constructing a few new bases and buildings. So, until next time folks, this has been BrainBoy 20, and this is me signing off. From Let's Play Genius, of course. Can't forget saying that now, can you?